Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I just read Plague War by Guy Haley and I really didn't like it. But regardless, the premise is as follows. The grossest threesome in the history of 40k, consisting out of Morty, Typhus and Kugath, are still preoccupied with trying to conquer Ultramar. Gilliman and Powell's obviously try to stop them, and well, that is kinda the gist of it. People often refer to this book as a filler book, and well, I can't really disagree with that. Sure, there is some backstory for some characters that further fleshes them out, and Matthew's arc would feel as rushed as Daenerys' turn to insanity if this book didn't exist. But outside of that, very little actually happens in this book outside of some boulder porn. Which really feels like filler in between the dialogue or the flashback scenes. So in the end, we have a filler book that itself is also more bloated than Kugath. The biggest issue I have with it, however, is that the boulder porn isn't well written. I'll just give some examples. The Dead Guard employ a formation in the form of a fly, which makes no sense. The Titans are described as big fish with corals on their back, and the Space Marines then as smaller fish. I guess Haley really took to the marine part of the Ultramarines. There is so much space dedicated to providing ridiculously out of place descriptions for simple things. As a result of this, you often both have to read things twice to understand it, while also feeling like it was already a waste of your time when you read it the first time. It furthermore also features the top 3 most boring factions to write about, all put together in a single battle. Foremost are the Titans. Now, Titan battles may sound really cool on paper, but anyone who tells you they are dope has obviously never read a passage about them. Daddy's Bell fires his X-Mega 5000 Nova Cannon at Mommy Milkers, but oh no, it fizzles off Mommy Milker's void shields. Mommy Milkers honks in return, with a very big honk, an incandescent honk even. You get the idea. It is so utterly simple and devoid of emotion that it becomes boring very quickly, and since Titan's personality ranges from angry to really angry, every scene with him feels exactly the same. Ultramarines are really interesting out of battle, with all of their organizational and conversational skills, but in battle they have very little that makes them interesting. Then finally there's Nurgle, which has had so many descriptive books written about him at this point that it becomes really hard to come up with new descriptions. Mortarion too has had so many conflicting portrayals, it becomes almost impossible to write him as a believable character. Although I have to say, the scene where the commander is turned into a summoning portal was disgustingly well done. Oh, and don't even get me started on the ending. The epilogue was nice, but the actual ending was some dumb cartoon Team Rocket shenanigans. I won't spoiler it, but you'll know exactly what I mean when you get there. By this throne, it is so dumb. Okay, so was this book all bad then? Well, no actually. Gilliman had initially planned to just ignore the issue of religion and the ecclesiarchy altogether, by sticking to his own and appointing Mathieu. This book, however, shows this plan slowly falling apart as a saint appears on the planet they are fighting on. Furthermore, religious elements start to go rogue amongst Gilliman's ranks, and a rogue trader delivers him a special book written by his least favorite brother. It was very interesting to see Gilliman react to and try to handle all of these situations. He furthermore has to come to terms with the fact that his current plan isn't working, and that he thus will have to get involved in matters he really rather wouldn't. But moreover, we see him have some self-reflection on the topic of why he despises the Imperial cult so much. Is it pure rational dislike, or does his hatred for Lorgar cloud his judgment? Altogether, a very well handled character arc in my opinion. A similar thing can be said for the priest, Mathieu, whose backstory we learn and whose ego we see growing page by page. Justinian too had an interesting arc. He is a Primaris who has been assigned to the Nova Marines and who now has to go through the clash of cultures such a change brings. Interesting lore-wise, as it is a proxy for what is happening with hundreds of thousands of other Primaris. But also quite a thought-provoking idea, on the meaning of culture and the difficulty of adapting to a new one. These character-driven scenes also often had some great humor in them. Cata Sicarius' interactions with, and his complete dislike for the priest, formed some particular comedic highlights, but also the discussion between Gilliman and the rogue trader was very nice. So yes, there are some gems hidden in this book, and it is almost as if Haley realized this, as they are so much better written than the other chapters of the book. But I rate books as a whole, and thus I'm going to go with 2 out of 5 stars for Plague War. Plague War features some great character portrayals on the loyalist side, which are then offset by the shitty portrayals of the traitors. There's some great dialogue and an interesting theme, but it's often buried beneath 5 million gallons of lackluster bolter porn. And story-wise, it just really is and feels like a complete filler novel between Dark Imperium and Godblight. We will cover Godblight on Friday, so then we will see if reading this book was worth it, but anyways, that's all I got for you today.
If you liked this video, please consider subscribing and click ringing the bell to appease the Great Horned Rat. For more lore content, please check my main channel and leave any book recommendations in the comments down below. I gotta get back to reading the next book.